the Lesser Football TV, and I've got a very special guest I've been trying to get for like the longest time, but he's finally here with me. Reyaad, how are you, sir?
Mr. Lessa, I'm well, thanks, and how are you?
I'm well, thanks, Mike. Yes, man. Obviously this is your interview, this is your story. This we're just gonna obviously go through that. And I've obviously looked through a couple of times through the encyclopedia and everything online,
Yeah,
and I've realized, there's so much that they haven't really covered with regards to you, and there's so much to you than what they wrote. So this was the whole point for me doing this interview, because I realized, they don't cover the most like essential things that are needed, and the things that make
sure.
us who we are at the end of the day. So um, who i- who is Reyaad Pieterse? I want to start off with that. Like, who are you in the simplest form?
I would like to believe and like to think of myself as someone. Reyaad Peter is someone who goes after what he actually wants,
Mm,
who's a family guy, down to earth, I care about the people around me. I keep them close to my heart. Like I said, I'm a family guy, and I just try to enjoy life, try to make myself as happy as possible,
mhm,
because nowadays what's happening in the world, in society, in South Africa, it's scary to think that mental health mental health is so high, and I'm so grateful for life each and every day.
No, it's I mean, you summed it up perfectly, man. It's very important that we maintain our mental health, despite everything that's been happening around the world. And like, I wanted to always ask you this: who influenced you in pursuing, to continue to pursue this football thing? Because I've seen so many people, obviously you came up with, but then they somewhat around along the way they lost that interest, and they just pursued something else entirely. And you remain consistent with your love for football. So who really pushed you, into continuing the consistency in wanting to be a footballer?
It's an interesting question because I've never actually really thought about my journey and who's pushed me. Obviously my parents play a big role in my journey, but like it's something where I felt I never ever knew what I wanted to do, after school. And then I just like football was so interesting and fun, and I had so much fun doing it. And I was like, yo, okay, this is interesting. And then in high school, I got my first, I think it was like my first salary, and that was, I got 950 rand, and I was like, yo, this is like, yo, this can change my life, because I'm still, in school, and you're getting money for doing something that you actually love. And I'm like, yo, this, like, I'm so blessed, and obviously my parents just kept me grounded, kept me focused on not losing focus on what I want to do, and obviously I could see that, like, playing soccer or football, however you want to call it. I was like, I enjoy this, and geez, I'm so privileged to be in such a fortunate position, where I'm able to do what I love each and every day, and I get paid for that, so I'm really privileged and blessed to be in that position as well.
I mean, obviously you mentioned um you obviously this question being a very I'd say a very good question, because a lot of people don't really get into it as to who really like made sure that they continue doing what they're doing, because it's very easy to lose interest in something. But like you said, the money when it came in and you realize what you're doing isn't just for fun anymore, but it can actually take me up another level in life, and it can help me, help out my family wherever I can, and make me a person that I want to be. But obviously, I wanted to touch on the grassroots levels. Obviously, you're a former Mondio primary student,
Yeah, proud
and
Monday primary student.
we still got these teachers being influential in people's lives. They don't disappear. Like, even the minute when we left primary school, they're always there, like, to, you could come to them at any time and point in time. Like,
100%. Yeah.
so would you say that, we'd say you were fortunate in a way, where we had this good support system from the grassroots levels that allowed us to be, successful going forward, and
Yeah,
to face the future challenges. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, Like I don't believe for them it was just a job at the end of the day. For them, like they actually had special moments, in our primary school careers where they kept checking in on us. I have Mr. Estes and Mr. Bennett, Mr. Spider, that still check in to see how I'm
Mm,
doing. Um, and of course to always keep me like I mentioned grounded and not forgetting where I came
mm,
from. And I'll never forget the time Mr. Estes organized me like an opportunity to go and speak to the students at Mondio Primary, and I'm truly grateful for that. I got the
mm,
opportunity to do something I love, which is give back, and just share a little bit of my journey and my story that it's possible no matter your background or where you're from, and you don't need to be at a fancy school, you know. Um, but anything is possible if you believe, if you have faith, and if you don't stop working hard. That that you can achieve anything and everything. And this is just the for myself personally. This is just the start of bigger and better things to come. With my family, with my career. So yeah, looking forward to that.
no, that's great, man. And obviously, you are part of a famous group of, the under 12s and under 13s team that, made history in a lot of ways. Till this day, people still talk about. I've got people who are still asking me, "Oh, remember, you guys had that team, where you guys were just going unbeaten. You were hard to beat. You were just like, you guys were just amazing, and those core group of players, some of them, I know Lesego is no longer with us, but, rest in peace to him. But,
May his
it
soul
was,
rest in eternal peace.
yeah, man. And, do you still keep in touch with those guys? Like, I know you still speak to Chad and a couple of other guys, but,
Yeah.
you know
You
what
know
made
the
you
the
guys special?
Sorry, what did you say at the end? What made you?
What made you guys so special, like, as a unit? I know you guys were friends outside of football, but um
I
you were
think
so,
I think
like, your
I
team.
think that's what it actually was. It was the
Mm,
the friendship that we had before
mm,
it came to football. Like that was a special group of players, and weirdly enough that you say it, and it's so crazy that whenever I see Chadwin, Joey, whenever we talk about like football, we always reminisce on the times that we had back in primary school and how strong our team used to be. Um, and obviously we have banter with one another. So it brings back some fond memories that we had. And like I said to you in the beginning, that I think it all started with the friendship that we had, the brotherhood that we had, that we were willing we weren't just willing to accept defeat. We were willing
mm,
to go blood, sweat, and tears sweat and tears till the end, so that was quite special for us.
Nah, man, awesome stuff. And obviously, moving on to that, you obviously after primary school, and you went to you were at President Hoër School, right? And then like, what was the journey from there? Like, which team would you say um developed you? Like, would you say it would be Vets? Was it Vets University, or was it
Yeah, 100%, 100% words. That's where I started now understanding that okay, this can be serious and we training every single day, And I'm like, okay, now this is where I start realizing that there's no more like for fun now. Now it's something that can actually like you can make a living from this. And I just started taking it more and more serious because I started realizing that I'm good enough. I didn't believe
Mhm.
it at the time that I was good enough, but like as competitions went on and things started happening, I started getting more and more confident and started realizing that nah man, it's possible. I can achieve anything that I set my mind to, firstly, you know, with having faith in the mix of that. So I believe like that. I believe that that's a powerful force. So yeah.
um that's actually 100%. But your journey didn't stop there. You actually left for overseas, and that's the time kind of where I lost, like, kind of you got lost on the radar a little bit, because when you went to overseas, I didn't even know that you were going to overseas. But how was, like, how did you adjust to the living of overseas? Because I know you were under the Nike Football Academy, and obviously you went to overseas prior
Yeah.
to that. You guys have already toured England as school team, but obviously going alone, as being like, as
Yeah.
opposed to having teammates there and getting to know new people. How was the journey? Like, did you feel intimidated at first, or were you just excited about the journey, the next chapter in your life?
Mm.
Riyadh, are you still there?
I,
I think the
to
next.
be honest with you, very life like what can happen, you know. Um,
Mm,
and I was like, sure. And fortunate enough for me that I had a South African friend with me when
mm,
we stayed in England.
mm,
Um, so like we were so close, like we were basically brothers.
mm,
And he made my stay a lot easier because at the time I just had Skype where I could connect with my family, but still it was difficult. This was the first time I've been away from my family, not even to another province. It's another country, so
mm,
that was a challenge in itself. But started enjoying like what England has to offer, like the physicality of the football that they played. Just how they like guys at 16, 17, like taking jumps seriously. And you're not used to this type of environment, this culture of them like looking after the way they eat, they train.
mm,
So it's all new to you. So that I learned a lot there. And then moving over to Shamrock Rovers from
mm,
England. I stayed in the Republic of Ireland, which was also challenging because there I was by myself. Um, and I stayed there for a year. An amazing place, your island. I learned so much about myself, because I didn't
mm,
think I could stay alone, but staying there, I learned so much about myself, and then obviously didn't work out, and then came back to South Africa, and like I joined one of the biggest teams
I think we're facing network problems, but he'll be back with us right now. Yeah, this is Reyaad Pieterse, and I'm busy interviewing him currently. If I don't know if you can hear me. Um, yeah, it's the network problems, guys. But he'll be back. Are you back? These network problems are really becoming a thing, eh? But like you said, you know adjusting to the football in the UK, it's an entire whole new different beast as compared to playing football here at home, here in South Africa, and they have different cultures. The weather is ridiculous. I'm not gonna, that's besides the point, but um like obviously how what's the difference between, would you say, the culture in the Republic of Ireland as opposed to England? Oh snap, I lost the guy again. But yeah, the interview will continue shortly, guys. It's just we're just having poor network, we're just having problems with the network, but he's probably gonna jump in and jump out quickly. But yeah, I think I just got him back now. Just adding him right now.
There we go.
Yeah,
Sorry
I
about that.
got you back, family. No, it happens, man. It's we this is the network problems that we always deal with, but we try and find our ways around it. But
100%.
yeah, like what you were saying, the culture is different. The food is different. The weather is different. The weather is ridiculous. I don't think I'd survive there, to be honest. I used to sit in front of the heater while we were still here in Joburg.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
when it
Yeah,
was
no,
winter
that
time, but
that also like it's something you have to get used to, that you like, another cold day, like, when's the sun gonna come out, you know what I mean? So yeah,
mhm,
that's a challenge on its own.
yeah, man. But yeah, here's something. Obviously, I'm gonna divert away from the journey wise questions for now, but here's something people don't know, that you also used to play on. You used to be an outfield player as well. You're a goalkeeper slash outfield player. Like I saw you so many times. You were
Yeah.
playing in the outfield as well. So I mean, what made you choose that? I'd rather be a goalkeeper. I fell in love with goalkeeping more than being an actual outfield player.
It's so crazy because we were playing. I think we were playing our school team, and like we played a final, and we lost in the final.
Mm.
Um, and the goalkeeper at the time, Joseph, if you remember,
I
Joey.
remember.
Yes, Joey was the goalkeeper, and Joey
Mm,
was very good, like very good.
mm,
Until
mm,
this day, like he always says, "Yo, you stole my job. If it wasn't for you, I'd be a professional." So it's we had Joseph was the goalkeeper, and
mm.
like Chad's grandfather was like, "No, man, we need a taller goalkeeper."
Yeah.
And I had started going for goalkeeping lessons,
Mm,
and I started enjoying it. And I was like, no, I can't wait for the next time. And
mhm,
progressively, I started getting better and better. And then, like the first year, like whilst learning to be a goalkeeper, I got selected for the Southern Gauteng team. And I
mm,
was like, okay, this this feels good. I'm enjoying this ride, you know. And yeah, I'm here today through the grace of God, you know, for just never giving up on me as well, you know.
Mm,
Because
mm,
so many times I've also wanted to give up, but you know, God hangs on to me, and you know, I feel like there's a purpose why I'm here and
mm.
why I never give up, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, man, and there's this photo that I saw of you taking with Beckham, and I was like, oh, this guy, you know. But yeah, man, how was it? Like, I know Beckham came through, and at the time you guys were I think you were training. Was it a training session or what? And
The
he
the
came
the
through
photo
and
that you got with Beckham is, I think you Miguel took a picture with David Beckham.
oh, okay.
Miguel Tim had taken a picture with David Beckham, and he told us that I'm jealous of him for getting that. Honestly,
No, man, shout out to Miguel as well. He also played
yeah,
an
no,
important
hundred
role.
percent.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and how was, like, coming back to SA and then having to readjust yourself again, back into the SA game because you had left for quite some time, and all of a sudden now you're back again, and you have to,
Uh,
like,
to be
mm,
honest with you, I was still pretty young at the time where I came.
mm,
The time I came back, you know, so there
yeah,
wasn't a lot for me to get used to, and at the time when I came back, I wasn't really playing, so you know, I was
mm,
start trying to get in the hang of things of how we train back home,
mm,
you know. Um, and that took some time, but I had one of the best goalkeeper coaches in Reina Dinkelaka, you know,
mm,
from Germany, who helped me get like all the bad habits that I had, you know, helped me get some of that out. Um, and yeah, like just started enjoying that more and more. And yeah,
no, man. But yeah, man. What? Obviously, you were Chiefs at some point, and you moved on, and you went to, you ended up at Sundowns, and what would you say would be the difference between two both of those clubs? Because people are still trying to, they don't know the ins and outs of the game, and it's like, obviously this is Chiefs, this is Sundowns, but like from a player's perspective, how was it like to move from Chiefs to Sundowns and vice versa? How would you compare, like, the experience at both clubs?
firstly, they two big institutions. Firstly, they very
Mhm.
big teams. Um, and I didn't go from Chiefs straight to Sundowns. I went from Chiefs to
To
SuperSport
Super Sports,
to
then
to
you ended up
Sundowns.
Sundowns.
So
Yeah.
like that was a bit of a it wasn't anything, you know. Um, but it was for me like I always wanted to. It was a bit difficult for me, firstly, to
Mm,
be totally honest. Difficult because Chiefs were obviously dominating at the time where I came, and like Itumeleng Kune was arguably like the best goalkeeper that like we've had in South Africa, you know. And just
mm,
to share a change room with him, like I was like, wow, you know. Um,
mm,
so to learn from a guy like that, like I always used to learn and see how he does things, you know, and like very inspiring, very very inspiring. Got
mm,
to super sport. Um, didn't really play as much as I wanted to. You know, at the time,
mm,
Ronan was also doing very well. And I've been at teams where they've had a number one that's been very good and very consistent. You know, and as a
mm,
goalkeeper, only really one guy can play. You know, unless is injured or anything like that. So that's the challenging part. You don't want to be a coach that rotates your goalkeepers because that is your spine and you don't really want to chop and change the spine of your team. So yeah, it's been challenging but very good because I'm getting to learn from like players that are representing the country, where I'm trying to compete to get to that level. So yeah, very interesting as well.
No, man, good shot, man. And obviously, you had the I'd say the privilege, of learning through all these guys. Everyone that's probably kept you out of the team was essentially one of, if not the best around. And that can only obviously take you further and help you in your experience in wanting to become the ultimate goalkeeper you are and you will be. So the good thing is that with you being a goalkeeper, you can play till you're 40 if you want to play until you're 40. You've got that
God
luxury.
willingly. Look, I would love that. Um,
Yeah,
but also if you need to take care of the body. So
yeah,
something you learn that uh, if you disrespect the game or your body, like you're not
mm,
going to have that luxury of playing till you 35, 36, 37.
mm,
Then you're pushing
mm,
your limit. So uh, God willingly, we can go to around 40, 38. I'm stretching
yeah.
it, but God willingly.
Yes. Nah, man. But I can see the way you take care of yourself, man, and you put so much work into what you're doing. I can easily see you play till you're in your late 30s because at the end of the day, like you said, it's about looking after your body and it's about having a good mindset as well to keep that consistency levels of performances. And yeah, man. But yeah, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud what you have achieved, who you have become,
Thank
and
you, my
it's a
brother.
blessing for us to see it from the outside and actually know that you actually went through all these struggles and circumstances and everything, but it never kept you down. Even when I know there's a lot of players who don't have the patience that you have. A lot of players when they don't get picked, it's like they throw their toys away. And you still kept that respect, you still kept that persistence, and it's very important. For someone who wants to become a goalkeeper one day and they're looking at you and you're like the perfect role model for them right now, and they want to model themselves around you. I'd
No, I'm
actually
humbled
suggest
by
that
that.
they do so.
I'm really
Yeah.
humbled by that. Thanks, brother. It means a lot to me. And I try and carry myself with pride. And
Mm,
everything, like you said, you have to be patient, and we have to
mm,
believe that at the end of the day, there's like it will be all worth it. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world, because
mm,
I will never know unless I try. So we just have to keep believing, keep honest, stay committed, trust the process. Sometimes it gets difficult and you don't feel like training and stuff like that, but like I always believe, like I always have this saying of this too shall pass. It's not always gonna be rainy forever, and it's
mm.
not always gonna be sunny. So you have to appreciate what you have and be grateful for it, because it will never last forever. So I go by that saying.
No, definitely, man. And discipline is something. I feel like a lot of footballers, they kind of like lack nowadays. But it was different with us growing up because a lot of footballers, they were very disciplined. They always, they put the sport ahead of everything else. And would you say that somewhat played a role in also when you stepped in, where the bigger guys came in and they told you, you have to do things this way, you have to do things that way, you can't do that, you can't do this, avoid that. Would you say that that kind of guidance is what also kept you in line and kept you disciplined throughout your career?
Of course, I do believe that, but I also like don't believe that like we've got a lot of role models to look at, you know. And
Mm,
I think that's firstly where we go wrong. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect or there's so many bad guys. Like we all make mistakes, and at the end of the day, it also
mm,
comes down to education. Like where
mm,
certain guys are from, like all this is all they know, and they don't know any better, you know. And it starts from that the lack of education that we've got, wherever you come from, you know, whatever race you are. But like sometimes some people's backgrounds and their challenges to get where they are now is very important, and a lot of people tend to forget about that. But like it can get very difficult, and all you know is football. You don't know anything else, and you have little bit of money, but you don't know any better because there was lack of education, and that starts by grassroots level. That it's sad to see, but that's the harsh reality that we live in. And you know, it's hard to tell a youngster nowadays how to spend his money, you know, because it's like
mm,
you can't tell me what to do. I've earned this money.
mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a difficult situation. It just depends on what you want in life, you know. If you want
Mhm,
the nice fancy life, of course it comes with a price. But if you also want the nice, comfortable, quiet, no one knows your business, you know, you go on with whatever it is, like there's also no problem to that, you know. Like I said, it's
mm, mm.
what's your preference, what you prefer. So yeah, I will never judge anybody, but all you can do is try and help and learn as well in the process.
No, good stuff, my guy. And obviously, I'm gonna also talk about the honors you've been lucky enough to lift. You know, like your NetBank Cups, like your Premier League. You know, how's that feeling? You know, the feeling of winning trophies. I know you've been doing it for like you've been doing it like while you were still in primary. You guys were lifting trophies for fun, you know, and
Yeah,
all the way
yeah.
going forward. And but how is it like to lift it in senior level? How is it to lift those trophies?
Bro, to be honest with you, like yo, I'm so blessed, my brother. Yo, I'm really, really so privileged. So privileged. Like I thank God each and every day. But like you know, when you, I don't want to sound like I'm bad or I'm arrogant or anything, but when you don't contribute to the team success, you know, when you're playing as an athlete, like it doesn't sit as nice to when you're playing and contributing, then the
Mm,
feeling is much more sweeter and better, you know. Then my answer would be totally different to you, you know. So
mm,
it's obviously it's a good feeling. Like that's why I say to you, I'm so privileged and blessed to have been in those institutions or those teams where we've won trophies, you know, and still not being a part of it. Yet I'm training each and every day, so I'm grateful for that. But you know, once I left the league title where I've played a full season, God willingly, then I can.
mm.
Then my answer would be totally different to you.
No, um, I mean you've got a good point there, but uh, my guy, and there's also one thing I'd like to ask you. In terms of the penalty shootout, you know, and
Yeah,
as you are a goalkeeper and you going into a penalty shootout,
yeah,
like the pressure definitely has to be super high. Like I want to know because when I'm behind the TV screen or I'm at the stands at the stadium, you know, obviously as a fan you're very nervous. But the person
yeah.
who's actually there, you have to deal with it. Like what goes through your mind when you have to make a save or something in a penalty shootout?
Of course, like you have butterflies, but like the chances of someone scoring is higher than the chance of me saving it, you know. So it just
Mm-hmm.
takes my guess to be right, you know. because either I've done some homework on you, or I don't know you and I'm taking a guess from the body language that I see. But otherwise, it's a mind game. Like, of course, I get butterflies, but excitement because I know I can be the hero.
mm,
So there's that type of excitement. But yeah, it's I think like I say, on the other end, like, I just feel like you have to score. If you don't score, I'm going to save it. That type of thing. So
no. Um, but yeah, man. I was actually not shocked at the same time, but you know, over the years, you've obviously grown taller than me. I was actually a little bit taller than you in primary school, but
yeah.
and you've obviously your physique and everything has changed, and um like what kind of work did you put in, like like in terms of growing your physique and making sure that you actually keep it? Because I've seen people lose shape, they'll grow and get this physique, but then they won't be able to maintain it. The maintaining part is the hardest part. So like what kind of diet would you say you'd suggest to people who want to actually stay in shape in terms of
I
as a
I don't
sportsman?
I don't have I don't have no diet plans, nothing like that.
Mm,
I just
mm,
like I don't have a strict diet, but I know that,
mm,
okay, if I eat bad today, that I need to work it off. So
yeah.
for me personally, and I tell my family this as well, like, you can't um eat healthy and not train. Like, it just doesn't go hand in hand. you know if you imagine how quicker you lose the weight if you eat healthy and you train. So
Mm,
so that, I just believe, like, if I eat bad, I need to work extra hard, and I have to maintain that, and not on the days where I don't feel like doing it, then give up or whatever. And there is days like that. I'm not saying that there isn't, but, like, I'm
mm.
just trying to keep my calories as low as I can and to be as lean as I can, so I can perform at optimal level.
No, man. Excellent stuff. So, like, do you guys have like sort of like at Sundowns, obviously, and at Chiefs and every other team you've played for, like, don't they like make you guys stand on the scale and then they measure up your weights and to see if you guys are overweight, or don't they have like basically a standard where you guys have to be in terms of your weight?
Yeah, no, of course, we do our biodex. So, like, once a week at Sundowns, we do like our weight, and to see, like, if the guys are picking up, or, like, how what's it looking like, in terms of training sessions and that. So they do pay a little bit of attention to that. So obviously, like, at the intensity that we train at, you can't afford to be, like, looking like you're not a professional athlete at the end of the day.
Mm. No, man, excellent stuff, man. Oh, obviously, one more question, man.
Sure.
Which celebrity lookalike do you think, or rather, should I say, celebrity do you look like?
Uh, do I think I look like, or do I, what's the question?
Yeah, what do you look? Which celebrity do you think you look like?
Yes, a few people have told me I look like Boris Cujo, so I don't know if it's correct or not.
I was gonna actually say it, like, because remember the time when you were posted something, and then and I was like, you look, bruh, you look like Boris, and you're like, no, bruh. And then I posted a
Yes,
picture and then actually look like he's
bruh,
got the same.
I've got it a few times, and when I tell my wife, she laughs at me. So she says I'm getting a big head, so I just leave it now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. Otherwise, man, thank you for joining me and sparing your evening. I know you've got a hectic schedule. You guys are, you know, it's the international break, but you guys still have to work. Um, and but then the league title, you guys are chasing the league title currently, and gets busy as time goes by. But the league season's almost over. So, like, what do you guys think about the prospect of like players coming back into the stadiums very soon?
Look, I would love obviously to have the the people back in the stadiums. Like the vibe and the atmosphere is
Mm.
it's second to none. And also against Al Ali, we had a taste of it, and obviously it was really fun. So of course, would love to have that. Obviously, we just have to make sure that I don't know, we have to wait for SAFA or I don't know, the government. I don't know what's happening. So yeah, all we can do is perform while we can, until they get there.
No, good stuff. But do you think would you say it's better to play in front of the fence than to play, without the fence? Because I feel like there's
Nah,
some players who will be like there's some players who actually like can deal better playing without actual fans being there, and then there's some who actually love the pressure of having,
yeah,
the
no,
entire
there's
place.
of course there's obviously there's two types, where you either enjoy it or not, but the atmosphere, especially when you're at home, like you feel it,
Mm,
so it's nice to have the supporters around, honestly.
yeah, no, good shot, man. And I would like to wish you, um, like all the best, man, and going forward in your future, in your career. I know there's a lot that still needs that still come from you, man. And there's I've watched you grow from, this guy was shorter than I was, taller than me, became taller than me as well. A lot of people have become taller than me. I don't know what you guys are eating, but um, yeah, man, I've watched you blossom and become this incredible person. Not just an incredible sportsman, but an incredible person inside out. And I'd like to just wish you the best. And I know the best is still yet to come from you, and it will happen, my guy. And your patience and your consistency will continue to shine throughout. And take
No,
care of
thank you.
yourself, man.
Thank you so much, my brother. And sorry that it now had to be after so long. I know you've been trying and your persistence, and yeah, I apologize. I just wanted like a nice time where I don't have, some stress on my back and I can concentrate, but at least we made some time, and just thanks for the opportunity, and I wish you nothing but the best. I'm proud of you as well. Keep going, and I know sometimes it might not be easy, and but you know this too shall pass. Remember that, and enjoy the process. And I just want to wish you everything of the best, my brother.
No, thank you very much, man. Have a lovely evening, man. And, take some time off, relax. You don't have games. You don't have a game tomorrow or two games the next day or
Yeah,
whatever,
nah,
man. So you have the free time, man.
nah, for sure. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Good shot, man.
Sharp. Bye.
Bye bye. That was Reyaad Pieterse, guys, and great individual, great person. And he took his time to do the show tonight. And thank you guys for joining us, and hope you guys have a lovely evening. And I am signing out.
After 12 years.
Good game, man. Really good game.
Like I said to Martinelli.
Hello, Antonio. Nice to see you again.
Hello, good afternoon.
It's gone through, Laporte! Rodri!
Dieser Lewandowski-Auftritt sorgt für Wirbel.
Looks like you lost another one.